Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Lotus Scope. I am your diviner, May Jin, and today you see the thumbnail, you see the title. You know I am going to be doing a reading on FKA Twigs, I believe is how I said, and Shia LaBeouf. Now, if you're wondering why these two, why now? It has come to my attention that these two were dating, or they did date, back in, like, I want to say 2020, 2022 or something like that, and their relationship ended in like 2023, 2024. And they were together for like a short time, but I didn't know about it. FKA Twigs came forward and spoke about how there was, or alleged that there was mistreatment in the relationship, and she was kind of like just telling her story and speaking out about it. And then only for later for her to be hit with a what is it, like she broke an NDA. I don't know what they would call it, but she was hit with like a lawsuit or something like that, by Shia LaBeouf and his team, in regards to her breaking an NDA that they had previously, in regards to talking about the alleged assault or the mistreatment in the relationship. Now there is a slew of other things that she kind of spoke about, mainly being like being pressured into intercourse with Shia, contracting an STD with him, or because of him, and him purposely misleading her and not disclosing his status. What else did she say? I think it was something else. Those are the two that I can think of right now. Shia or LaBeouf has not come forward, or LaBeouf, I don't know how you would say it. He has not come forward to deny or confirm these allegations. He's kind of been dancing around them. So I want to get into this and see what's going on. Why was this relationship so tumultuous when you hear, Twig's side of things, and then LaBeouf is just kind of like nonchalant, not caring, in regards to how this is kind of being carried out. And I want to see what's going on with them, because they've recently come back into the news about the relationship, because her wanting to share her story and him saying it violates their NDA. Yes, that's the word I should probably say. So I want to get into this reading and see what's going to come up. But before I do want to issue some boundaries in this reading. Essentially, I want to hedge your expectations. If you are someone who is coming here and you think there's going to be some magical, mystical meaning in me reading these cards, that is not what I do. That is not how I conduct my readings. I usually tell people, think of me as like a translator, but a spiritual. I try to use the cards to interpret and understand the messages and meanings that I am deemed worthy to receive. And in doing so, I try to relay that message to you. I try to give you the gist of what's going on. Now, in the midst of me translating, there is room for a misinterpretation or a mistranslation. And that's just the way translation works. If you've never experienced that before, sometimes there's no one-on-one translation. Sometimes there's not certain words that there's certain words or meanings that can't just kind of be quickly disassembled and sent over in another language or transcribed or whatever the case may be. But I try my best here. In doing so, because of the medium that I am using, and because this is prone to misinterpretation and mistranslation because of, on my part, my end of things, I do have to also divulge that, my opinions, or facts that I have stated, as I did earlier in this video, are not should not be held to legal grounds. It should be treated as me just trying to, again, give the meaning of the message across. I don't mean any maliciousness behind it. I'm just simply trying to get the message across. Nevertheless, all statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. I want you to keep that all in mind as we go through this. So now that we have those ground rules laid out and that understanding, as I have stumbled through that to kind of give you that message, let's pull these cards and see what's going to come through. Sole, 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 sole. So I don't know about anybody else, and this could be because I'm an American. I'm not too familiar with FKA Twigs' music and her talent. I am more familiar with LeBouf, just because he played in two of my favorite movies, Holes and Transformers. So I know him pretty well from those, and kind of have a favorable look on him. But do know and have heard rumors over the years that he is. Um, Not the kindest person. I will say that. But nevertheless, I'm going to be fair or try to be fair in delivering the message that I get in here. So first things first, I want to get FKA's or Twig. I'm going to call her Twig. I want to get Twig's side of things here. So first things first. Okay, so I have two cards here. It's not the best of cards. So we do have the 10 of this and we have the 2 of this as well. So money, 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 reputation is all coming up here. This is a tightrope act that she is doing, which is understandable because if legality is getting involved, that is bleeding some money. There is a lot of stuff that's going into that. The 10 of this also coming up reverse. Concerns, money concerns. It could also be maybe reputation and stuff as well, or the power imbalance. Again, I don't know how famous or popular she is, but I'm just saying I think LaBeouf, I'm sorry, has long money unless she comes from like some rich family that I don't know about. I'm pretty sure LaBeouf comes from a well-to-do family and he is a famous child actor, you know? So, well, not a famous child. He came out as a child and has kind of had a good career for a good amount of time. So, let's see what else I'm going to get here. What is and this was the other one. Oh, so the high priestess did want to come out, but I see I have two cards. So I'm going to take that back. These two fell together. So we are going to look at this. Oh, do he see her as manipulative? Because the magician is coming up in reverse. They usually speak to manipulation, or warp sense of understanding. Maybe that's the other thing that's coming through. I am getting the 6 of Cups also coming up here. This is coming up in the upright as well, so this makes me feel like something from the past is coming up here. I don't know, fond memories. So it's interesting when you're reading on two different people and you get two different energies, but again, asking them, I'm trying to tap into what their energies are. So I'm just giving you what I got, okay? That is way too many cards. Split those up a little bit. See here. Um. Ooh. So they don't have. Oh, okay. This is coming. Okay. As the sun fell down and it came, it's in reverse here. So you can see that there if you can tell. It came through clear for me. at least for the buff's energy, allegedly, it's like, why do you keep bringing up why do you keep harping on why do you keep playing up like, what, move on. Like, that's, I think it's almost like exasperated, or it's like dumbfounded, or it's like, what's really going on? Is this something that I don't know about? Like, what's happening here? Do you want to get back with me or not? Like, what's happening? Because you keep bringing up, like, move on. And it's like, and I don't know if this is true, but I will say, typically when you're the person who has done the wrongful act, sometimes it's easier, I would say easier, maybe even more beneficial for you to just kind of just move on and not want to deal with this. Easier to just move on and go past the transgressions if it never happened, ignore it, being apathetic to it. Whereas the person who experienced the trauma or the hurt, or, the transgression happened to, is oftentimes the one that's kind of like holding the book. They have to filter through the trauma. They have to unravel some thoughts and feelings that's going on, and it's hard to kind of like reinforce positive behavior or reactions or whatever emotions or whatever the case may be, when it could be, you could have made 1,500 steps forward, but somebody did something, or something reminds you of the incident or the trauma or whatever, and it could set you 500 steps back. You know what I'm saying? And so now you're back at square one and having to work for it again. It's always having to commit to, like, having to heal and process and move forward and be a better person. It's usually a lot of work in our society and our culture. Is usually a lot of hard work on behalf of the victim, rather than is it the persecutor? I may be missing it there. But yes, that's kind of like what's coming up here. They don't have a favorable opinion of each other. I think that's clear here with the sun coming up. I think there's also something here in this relationship that neither one of them want the public to be aware of, and whether that's out of shame, out of protecting their reputation, out of fear that people may look at them a certain way, or whatever the case may be, whatever that grounds is that's coming up. I do think there's something that transpired in this altercation, in this incident, that they do not want people to know, or they don't think it's the public's business to know, essentially. Now, the underlying energy, there is a lot of mental exertion going on here with the Nine of Swords coming up here in the upright. There's a lot of should I, shouldn't I, the buts, the what is, the only ifs coming up here, what aboutisms. A lot of that is going on. It seems like there's a lot of mental gymnastics and anguish going on here. There is a lot of mental games being played as well, with the Princess of Swords also coming up here. And I don't think it's the best kind of mental games, because it is the Princess of Swords coming up in reverse. So this is, to me, it kind of feels like this is somebody who's like brute forcing it, or utilizing the upper hand that they have in the situation, whatever the case may be. And then we also have the Hierophant. Now, this could be on the legal side of things, this could be dealing with men in robes, judges, court, whatever the case may be there. But typically, usually when I see the Hierophant come up in readings like this, it usually speaks of some big dominating figure. And usually the big dominating figure is kind of like the cultural antics or belief that happens here, the things that shape our culture or society at large is usually what I think of here when I get the Hierophant. So I'm wondering again if there's something that's coming up, because I did allude to this earlier, where I do think there's something that transpired between them, or in this relationship, whether it was in the relationship or when it was done, or it was a situationship, whatever the case may be, or maybe even before the relationship started, they kind of just don't want people to know there's some kind of information. Maybe it could be pertaining to involving other individuals, and that's why they're trying to kind of like keep it hush hush. But it feels like there's something here that they're trying to keep a little out of the spotlight here. Neither one of them are trying to talk about it. Now, I do also want to mention two other cards that I see here that's underneath the underlying energy, and that is the Judgment card. So I think a judgment is going to be made quickly on this. So I'm going to put, yeah, there we go. Focus. I think a decision is going to be made quickly about this. I think a quick conclusion is going to be made about this. And then we also have the Eight of Wands. If a conclusion isn't already made, I do believe a decision was made on behalf of them coming to or going to court April 20th, but then something happened, and now Twigs is trying to appeal the ruling or something. If I read that correctly, again, I do not work in a legal field, so I could have misinterpreted what I read, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was saying. But let's see if I'm going to get some more clarity here. Okay, let's see what I got here. Today for tomorrow. Today for tomorrow, and it's coming up in reverse. Twigs energy. Okay, allegedly. Feeling that she see him as being a bit of like a bipolar narcissist. That's what the energy feels like to me. But I could be misinterpreting that. But it does feel like when I see today for tomorrow, it's like I'm actually hearing you're not the same person today that you were yesterday. You're not going to be the same person you are today, tomorrow. You, like, every day you're somebody different. I don't know who I'm getting. And that's the scary part. I think that's where the hesitation and the fear comes in. I think that's where that's where the hesitation and fear comes in on her side. It's like, I don't know who you, because like today you can act like you're so in love with me and I'm the best thing that ever happened to you. Tomorrow you will act as if I was the bane of your existence and I was the worst thing that ever happened to you. And yesterday you were acting as if you didn't need me or you didn't care. And then 2 weeks from now you're going to tell me that, or it's you're going to portray to me, you're going to come off as like you're instigating some stuff about myself, or you're making me question my self-worth or something like that. It's always something with you. When it comes to me, you always have something. You're always moving the goalposts. You're always somebody different. I never really know where I stand with you, and that's the part that drives me up the wall. I'm getting 2 cards here for him. I'm getting Naked Before the Stars, and then I'm also getting Forgotten Oneself. Yeah, I think he knows that as well, or he has an inkling that's what's going on as well, and he's also not wanting that to come out. Let me see. I can sit it like this. I can do that. So it all fits on the screen. I think he also has a concern that, okay, allegedly, I wonder if he has a fear that something has transpired, and I don't know if he was like under the influence. Maybe he blacked out, or maybe Twigs is onto something. Maybe he is bipolar or something here, and he did something untoward, something unforgettable, and he doesn't remember. You get what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. I wonder if he has a fear or some concern that that is something that happened, and now maybe like out of guilt or self-preservation, he is not wanting that to kind of come forward. He is not also trying to deal with it as well. He is, again, he would rather move forward and not deal with it, not to confront it. Like maybe it's going to bring up some other things for him. Can't say, you know what? No, I can't understand that. Let me not say that. I can understand where that would come from. Never mind. I was about to be like, I don't get that. Yes, I do. I think a lot of us do that. Whether intentionally or not, I think sometimes our brains just rather shelter us from certain traumas or things that we don't want to realize about ourselves, or we just don't see, or we don't want to see. Mm. Peaceful among the thorns. No, there is no peace among the thorns. There is a problem here. I'm going to tell you the most confusing part to me. Okay, and this is not to shit on anybody's feelings in this relationship. The most confusing part to me is I get the inkling that she wants everything like out in the open, but at the same time, there's something she's holding back on. And I don't know if it's out of love or respect for the relationship, covering or protecting somebody else, protecting herself. I don't know what it is. It feels like there's something she's holding back. And on this, and in the same sense, it feels like there's something he made unintentionally. It feels like he's unintentionally holding something back, and I don't think it's out of protecting her or anything, because to me it just feel it, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's that purposeful on his end. I don't know how else to explain it, but it just feels like both of them, they want this settled and done, and they want to come forward about it and tell their size of it. Of course, with them looking, coming out the better or with the less mud on them, but the thing that would probably like really turn the tides or change things, for whatever reason they're holding it back. I don't know what it is, and this could be the whole like NDA thing where that's coming in, and maybe that's why I'm not seeing it, because I do believe they also kind of like closed the the case filings or whatever like that, so people wouldn't, it wouldn't be public information. But something feels like I don't want this to be divulged, but I want my side to be heard, and I want you to pay for whatever transpired. I don't know what that is, but that's the energy. I do also see Alone in the World coming up here for the underlying energies. We have, let me put these the right way. I also had the child I was meant to be. I'm starting to think it involves another person, a powerful person, fated to suffer. I'm starting to think this involves another person, and that's why they're trying to like keep things under wraps. I don't know who that could be, but that's what I'm getting here. Okay, lastly, I'm just gonna see what's possibly. I feel like I had the answer kind of come out earlier, but I want to see if what's going to be the results of this case, if it even in, close enough to being settled. What's the outcome for this case between Twigs and I'm getting Queen of Wands, Two of Wands, King of Sword. Mm. I'm still getting deliberation. There's still some deliberation that's going on here. And and call me crazy. Another part of me wonders if FKA Twigs is concerned with if she was to bring these allegations or this to court, then she will probably have a hard time winning just because we've seen how often that is not working out for people. We see how it hasn't worked out for Amber Heard. We see how right now with the Blake Lively situation, it doesn't seem to be looking good for her. What was another case where something like that was going on? It just seems like it's a lot of chauvinistic, misogynistic, I don't know, kind of like energy that goes on and that really leans into the decision making of these cases, especially when it's a lesser known star going up a bigger, more well known star. You often have people really leaning on the side of the male star. And I'm wondering if that's something that's going to come up here. That's something that's going to be launched against her, because I'm also getting something here. And I don't know if this is the case. I feel like she has been persecuted before by the public when it has come to her relationship or how people have perceived her presentation as an artist, as a woman, as an individual. And I think she's wondering if that's just going to hurt her. So that's why she's also avoiding this kind of being like a public hearing, and she's trying to kind of like get it settled outside of court, because not only does she not know what to expect out of him, but she's also like, I'm very much afraid of kind of like this is going to give ammo or fuel to those haters and the people who are like just waiting in the wings on me. And it's more so the public scrutiny. And that may be why that Hierophant is coming up here. That's that mental gymnastics that's coming through clearer now. I'm wondering if the reservation is more so on her end, because it's like, well, we've seen this song and dance before. We see how this goes. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is. And that's probably why this energy is so all up in the air, because it just feels like a lot of deliberation. It's a lot of like, I hear you saying I may have grounds for a case. Allegedly, I feel like this is a conversation that could be had, or was had between her and her legal team. Like, I understand you saying based on the legalities of this case, yes, I have a case. Yes, I could probably easily win. But once it goes to court, it also enters the court of public opinion, and I'm afraid that it's not going to be resolved in the way that I need it to be, or it properly being resolved without all the bias and the public scrutiny and the weigh in that's going to come with it. Like, I don't want to deal with that. And lastly, let's see here. Thought it was going to probably be too. The fragmentation, so many ways this could end alone in the world. Yeah, I think he's ready. What I'm getting here from these cards, he's ready to move on, and he wants to make sure she stopped bringing it up. And she's torn between, I want you to pay for what you have done, but I'm afraid of actually taking it to the point where I need, or I would want it to go, I would desire for it to go, because I'm afraid it's going to backfire because of public opinion and because of the nature of the discourse and the culture that we are in right now, where people seem to really hate me, dislike me, are biased against me, don't like the way I present. I'm don't come off as a or I generally don't come off as like a, what they call it, an ideal victim kind of thing. And so I rather get this settled outside of public view and keep this stuff closed and go about my business and still be able to tell my truth. I think that's what it is. And maybe that's where the reservation is coming in at. I'm pretty sure he's aware that it could make his reputation or make him look even worse. But she's afraid of bringing it that far because of the public blowback, the public blowback that could follow from this. And so I think that's where the concern is. And there may be a thing here of like, that's probably why this money is coming up here of like, okay, if it's the public blowback, more than likely I'm going to miss out on brands. I'm going to miss out on deals. I may not find it easier to work. I'm already scraping by as it is because people have a strong distaste against me as it is. People are going to judge my dating history, whatever. All these things are kind of coming up here. There's a lot of, as you can see here, there is a lot of mental gymnastics, this fragmentation, and this Nine of Swords. Yeah, that's clear. I think a lot of this is on her end. I think there may be some mental concerns in regards to LaBeouf, in regards to like his mental health. But for her, it feels more so like it's a lot of worry and constraint on her side. Yeah, that's what I'm picking up here, and that's probably why this alone in the world is coming here. This could pertain to both of them, though. I do want to be fair in that could pertain to both of them. But let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. Are you more so in Twigs camp, or are you more so in Shia's camp? Are you somewhere in the middle where you're kind of like, I believe this and don't believe that, or I believe this about her and I believe this about him? Share your thoughts down in the comment section below and let's talk about it. If you would like to see more readings like this for me, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, selecting it to all. I thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.